Hey everyone, this is Nitro. In this video, I'm going to be talking all about the mechs or STs in Mecharashi. And this is going to be a video that, kind of like the pilot video, will allow players to analyze mechs themselves. So it's going to get divided into several parts. I'm going to be talking about like a general overview of mechs and how you should upgrade them. The second thing will be a little bit about the modules that you can equip on mechs. So I'm talking about these little connectors that you can add buffs to your mechs for. And then the third thing I'll talk about then is I'll do like an analysis of some of my mechs and why they're considered top tier. Like for example, the Twilight Fang and Glasya are considered the best mechs you can get, or among them. And then the Dreadtalon is considered good, but not amongst the best mechs. So it's near top tier, but not quite top tier. So yeah, I think those will be the three main parts. Be aware a lot of what I'm talking about will have to include the dispatch mission part and specifically the delivery network. Because the delivery network gives you free components. Like for example, you can get these common upgrade kits for A rank STs. You can get parts of mechs. There's a one-time limit on each of these, but you can get them. Right? Parts of mechs. And finally, you can also get upgrade kits. So these upgrade kits are basically the equivalent of the A rank ones, but they're specific to an S rank mech. So with all that said, let's begin. Just a warning, this video will probably be like 30 minutes because there's a lot to cover. I'll try to add timestamps into the video description, so please make sure to make use of them, right? To kind of focus on what you want to learn. So, first things first, about upgrading mechs. So fundamentally, every mech upgrades in the same way. Whether it's a B rank mech, or A rank mech, or S rank mech, they all follow the same system. So what I mean by that is, you can click quality upgrade and click quality preview, and it shows that, for example, B rank mechs goes from blue rank 1 to blue rank 2 to purple rank 1 to purple rank 2. So there's 3 upgrades in total. The A rank mechs, as I mentioned, follow the exact same system. So if I go into quality upgrade and quality preview, it goes from purple rank 1 to purple rank 2 to gold rank 1 to gold rank 2. Again, 3 potential upgrades, okay, in terms of quality. And lastly, the gold rank mechs, it looks slightly different, but functionally it's the exact same. It goes from gold rank 1 to gold rank 2 to gold rank 3 to what they call rainbow, based on the background. And rainbow is like the final version, the maximum quality a mech can get. Okay. Now, with that mentioned, okay, what you see in the quality preview is the mechs often get some additional skills. So you can see, for example, the torso starts with 1 skill, picks up a 2nd skill, and then at the maximum level, picks up like a 3rd skill. For A rank mechs, that is. For the S rank mechs, what they have is they actually start off with 2 skills, then go to 3 skills, right? And then after 3 skills, one of those skills will upgrade a level. So that's how they work. This upgrade is very, very important actually, and I'll go into why shortly after. Now, so those are like the skills or unique effects the mechs have. Of course, they also always get stat increases. Firepower affects how much damage you deal, armor and hit points is survivability, and then each part actually has an additional skill. The torso will increase your critical resistance. The arms will actually increase your hit chance. Okay? So your hit chance increases with each quality upgrade. And then the legs will increase, I believe it's dodge. Yep, the last skill for them is dodge. So essentially, long story short, you basically always want to do quality upgrades if you can. Unless, let's say, you don't have multiple S rank mechs to run. Okay? Like if you desperately need 5 S rank mechs, because that's most battles, they require you to have 5 of them, then you might choose to run 2 duplicates temporarily, but eventually you're going to want to upgrade the quality of them. So what does the quality upgrades require? And it's fairly straightforward, actually. Let me just go and click on the mech parts. So at the rank 1, at its original level, so to go from, I guess, rank 1 to rank 2, you need a duplicate part, the exact same part. And that applies for all mechs, whether it's, for example, if I want to upgrade this Twilight Fang, I need a dupe. Same quality Twilight Fang. Okay. The interesting thing here is, remember I just talked about those upgrade kits earlier? So A rank mechs can use their upgrade kits, the A rank upgrade kit, the common upgrade kit, to replace the duplicate. And similarly, the S rank mechs can use their upgrade kits from the dispatch mission to upgrade as well. So if, let's say, you're using a Glasya right now, which is what I am using, you probably want to go up the innovative branch, because once you hit 3,900 points, you get an upgrade kit, and you can unlock this 4 times. So once you hit the 3,900 point, it supposedly resets, and then you have to work your way through again to get like another upgrade kit, and so on. And I believe you can also claim another part of the 12 options. So yeah, so that's the first upgrade. The second upgrade for every mech part always requires the following. So if we're talking about B rank and do quality upgrade, so B rank 2, you need 2 parts of the same type. So if it's a light mech, you need 2 light mech parts. If it's medium mech, 2 medium mech parts. Heavy mech, 2 heavy mech parts. And they have to be of the same quality. Okay. So by same quality, what they mean is they need to be blue rank 2 parts. Right? You can't use a blue rank 1 part because it's not of the same quality. Okay. So you need that for the rank 2 blue mechs. You need that for the rank 2 purple mechs. And you also need that same thing for the rank 2 gold mechs. Okay. 2 parts of the same quality. And the key thing is this. Okay? Remember I just said that the blue rank mechs cap out at rank 2 purple, and then the B rank mechs cap out at rank 2 purple. The A rank mechs cap out at rank 2 gold. So what that means is, effectively, you can upgrade the B rank mechs to use as feeder material for A rank mechs. And you can get the A rank mechs at max quality as feeder material for your S rank mechs. That's the system that is in place. Okay. So you should never be using A rank mechs to feed into each other to upgrade. Similarly, you should never really be using S rank mechs to feed into each other to upgrade. That's a massive waste. So that's their system. Okay? You max out the quality, then you use them as feeder material. I only have one, just as a side note, I only have a single part fed up to gold rank 3. Okay? So I was able to upgrade 2 of the A rank mech parts into feeder material for one of my S rank mechs, but that was it. Okay? So that's why mostly everything is stuck at gold rank 2 for me. So that's that's the second upgrade. The third and final upgrade, what it requires is a dupe part of that same quality. Once again. So what that effectively means is, to upgrade any part, you need 4 dupes. Okay? The dupes can be the upgrade kit parts. That can be one of them. But you need 4 duplicates of every part to kind of max it out. At bare minimum. Okay. So you're going to need 4 of the duplicates as well as feeder material to do the upgrades. So yeah, it's fairly expensive as a result. Getting 4 copies of Glasya of every part is not that easy, right? And you also need all these A ranks upgraded to gold rank 2. Okay. Various A rank mechs. So yeah, it's like a feeding system, if you will. And one thing I'll mention here now, in terms of upgrading, they have a batch process for automatically, upgrading the parts and so on. This system sucks, being frank with you. I would never use it because we just talked about needing 4 duplicate parts, right? They will freely feed any part they can into upgrading. So, for example, if you have 3 mech parts of A rank unequipped, so if I unequip these 3 parts, they will recommend in the batch to use them as feeding materials to get a single gold rank 1 part. Okay. So the system is not intelligent, I guess that's the best way to say it. And so my recommendation is there is some use for it, the batch system, and that's simply to upgrade 2 dupes together. So I would, if I had this option right now, I would uncheck the top options that are combining 3 parts and just upgrade the ones, they automatically have these parts upgrade them through the batch system. Then I can pick and choose which parts to upgrade manually. Lastly, this batch upgrade system will not upgrade parts that are equipped on characters as long as they are not main squad set. So if you didn't set the pilot as main squad, right? So pilot, when you select them, you can choose main force. Okay? As long as they're not set as a main force, this batch process will not upgrade the mechs that they're in. So there are a few that's kind of useful, you know. But yeah, overall, that system is not recommended to use. It's a system that will feed a lot of useful materials into garbage. Right? So yeah, that I think more or less concludes the quality upgrade process. Enhanced process is pretty straightforward. You just always do it, right? It needs you to farm the frontier trial maps, right? And as long as you farm these maps, you get the materials for upgrading. I suppose the key thing about frontier trial is S rank is where you get the maximum bonuses, the maximum upgrade materials. So you should try to always S rank the battles. SS rank, all it's actually used for is the first clear achievement. Okay. So you only need to clear it once. And it doesn't even matter whether you clear it with medium components, light components, or heavy components or whatever. As long as you clear it once, you're going to pick up the S rank, you're going to pick up the SS rank first clear, which is for the 50 crystals. Okay. And the first clear, I guess, Mech Modules. Alright, so I think that kind of covers the 2 main parts of upgrading. Oh, one last thing I'll mention is, in terms of farming the maps, the resources for each one is different. Like if you get mixed, it gives you 25 of each. Okay. If you choose light focus, you get 45 of one, and then 15 of the other 2. So you get 15 of heavy, 15 of medium, and then 45 of the light components. Right. So which one you kind of use and utilize depends on the mechs that you run. And to unlock each of these, the light, medium, and heavy focus, it just needs you to bring 3 mechs of that type. So in my case, to unlock light components, I brought 3 light mechs, 2 heavy mechs. 3 light mechs, 2 medium mechs. And to unlock medium, I brought 3 medium mechs and then 2 light mechs. Okay. Mixed components basically just unlocks as soon as you have on your first clear. Because I actually ran 0 heavies, you know, and my very first clear, I would unlock mixed components automatically. So that's more or less it. And in terms, I'll mention in terms of sweeping, I mostly sweep light components, and then maybe occasionally sweep some mediums, because I have 3 light mechs that I use and operate. All right, so that covers pretty much all of the upgrading aspects. Right? The final thing I'll mention is what parts do you upgrade, right? In terms of quality. My personal recommendation is, I would actually focus on the arms first, the left arm and right arm, and raise those up to the 3 chevron level before focusing on the body and the legs. And there is a very clear reason for this. Okay. This is linked to the second. First of all, number 1 is the arms are what increases your hit chance, right? The rating for hitting the enemy. Given that you don't want to miss your attacks, bluntly speaking, focusing on the arms, upgrading their quality, would be better than upgrading the torso and the legs. Because, truthfully, the torso and the legs rarely die. Right? it's often the arms that get blown off. So you increase the arms survivability, and you also increase your hit chance. Win-win situation there in terms of upgrading the arms first. The second reason to upgrade arms first is based on how the skills unlock. The arms actually do not start with these, I guess, secondary skill, if you will. Okay? So it starts off with these two skills. You don't pick up level 1 of that secondary skill until you reach 3 gold. And then it raises it to level 2 when you reach rainbow. But the torso and the legs, they actually start with that skill right away. So if we go into quality preview, take a look. Right? They start off with that surmount skill here. And it raises, sorry, that's 2 chevron. So at 1 chevron, it already has the surmount skill. And then it just raises to level 2 at rainbow. So, and that's why I would focus on the arms first. Just lots of benefits to upgrading arms. Now, the final few points I should mention. This, I guess, secondary skill. Okay? It maxed out at level 8. The key thing about these skills is that when they reach level 8, they always have a special effect. And that special effect is often the massive game changer and what makes certain mechs really, really good. Like, for example, the Glasya gets this effect. If no part on the enemy mech is broken, you'll get a flurry strike, which deals an additional 0.25 times damage to enemies, which is pretty solid. Okay? A really ridiculous one is actually on the Twilight Fang. And the Twilight Fang secondary skill is Combo Mod, where at max level, each turn, after triggering your first re-attack, action point cost for using your skills is reduced by 1, and it's a minimum of 1 action point. This skill is utterly broken in certain situations because you can reduce, let's say, your action point cost from 2 to 1, allowing you to launch out more attacks and conserve your action points. In fact, the Twilight Fang has this insane combo with Frida. And I'll just quickly go over it as an example. So, Frida has a skill that actually unlocks fairly early. Load Raid. Load Raid causes 1 action point, and the main effect of triggering it is that after actively attacking, you trigger a re-attack, allowing the unit to move 1 tile before attacking again. These effects are unlimited and last until the next action. And so what this means is, combined with the Twilight Fang, your every attack is going to take 1 action rather than 2, because shotgun shots usually use 2 AP. So, however much action points Frida has is how many times she can attack once you've triggered Load Raid, which is insane. You can combo this with a lot of other effects that she gets in terms of increasing her AP. Here's what I mean. In the Neuro Drive, let's say, the beta sector, when destroying a part, restores 1 AP after the combat, can trigger once per turn. So this adds an action point effectively. At 7 CP on the beta branch, action cap increased by 1. At the first, I guess, Sigma branch, I'm not sure what this symbol is in Greek, but anyways, in the 3rd sector, action point cap plus 1 once you hit 4 CP. In the 4th sector, same thing, action point cap plus 1. Alright, so if your action point cap is 5, it becomes 6, 7, and an 8. So you have 8 action points, and then potentially plus 1, 9 action points. And Frida also has a skill in the Bionic Computer that gives action points. I don't have it unlocked yet, but it's the Core Neuron 6 one, Charge Up. When initiating combat and landing 12 or more hits in total, restore 1 action point after combat, and this can trigger 2 times per turn. So we just said she has 9 action points, let's add 2 more, 11 action points. So 11 action points, you trigger this skill, becomes 10. You use your first attack, it becomes 8, right? So that means you are attacking 9 times with Frida in a single turn, which is insane. And also keep in mind, every time you kill a target, you get an action point. Okay, so yeah, as long as the enemies are clumped up, and Frida only needs to move 1 tile to attack them, she can launch out a crazy number of strikes at the enemies with that build. But this combo requires you to have a Twilight Fang that is giving you the combo skill at level 8. So that takes time to get, right? Rainbowing a mech. Now, with that said, there is a way to unlock something like the combo skill early. And that lies in the fact that you have these module slots, right? So there's 4 module slots that you can equip mods in. Well, with these 4 module slots, if you have the 2 arms at level 3, so that they give the combo mod level for 1, you have combo mod level at 4, right? And then there are some places where you can buy modules. For example, in the trade screen under shop, the arena shop will let you buy combo mod modules. So this might be a temporary thing you buy, let's say. But if you buy 4 of them, these 4 will add 4 levels. Combo mod level of 4 will give you the combo mod at level 8. As long as you have the 2 arms at gold rank 3. Okay. Of course, this is an ideal, I suppose, but you may not be able to afford these right away, in large part because what else can you buy from the arena shop? Literally, you can buy Twilight Fang parts, okay? And I would definitely prioritize buying the Twilight Fang parts first before you would ever look at buying the combo mod. Like, I would buy all 4 of these first, which each of these needs 6,000 arena points, before buying this, which also needs another 12,000. So you might be limited from that, from getting these arena rewards, like not having enough arena rewards. Given that it resets, I think after 4 months, 16 weeks. Okay. Wait and see, I suppose. So yeah, that's a temporary method where you can potentially unlock that secondary skill at level 8 faster. Okay. So, modules, right? This links directly into the modules discussion. So, there are several ways to get modules. The first method is just what I mentioned in the shop. Specifically, there's a module trading company. This resets every week. So every Sunday or every Monday morning, I guess, it'll reset. And 6 of the slots are the kind of A rank modules that you can buy for 5,000 credits. And then there's always 2 slots that will cost 800 crystals instead. And they sell gold rank modules. Unless you're like a paying person, I would never buy these. Okay, but the A rank ones are well worth buying. Specifically, you'll probably want to buy the ones that increase your damage output, because damage is king in this game. Okay? So I would recommend buying the damage ones to equip on your mechs. I would not buy the ones that reduce the damage you take. There's no particular point, in my opinion. Your priority is to dish out damage, not to reduce the damage you take. Just the module trading company. I already mentioned Arena Shop, having some modules for sale as well, although I would save my arena points for the Twilight Fangs first, before even looking at these other options. Okay. And Border FTZ, so the border points, the honor points from Border Conflict, also can be used for some mods further below. But once again, they also sell a mech. This is a heavy mech that you can buy, so you might want to focus on the heavy mech first before looking at the mods. This shop is a little bit more iffy because it resets much faster than the arena one does as well. So yeah, you'll have to see how much honor you save. Lastly, there is also a tuning shop. The tuning shop is only for looks. Okay? Like colors and emblems. So it is mostly useless. Alright. So that covers where you would get modules. Oh, lastly, there is one other way to get modules. In the workshop, you can produce ST modules. And to produce ST modules, you have to basically break up parts of mechs. Okay? Whatever the primary skill of the mech is, you can break up a part of that mech to get modules of it. A few key things here is the number of module parts you get is based on the ranking, the quality of that part. So if you break up a 1 rank part, you only get one module. If you break up a 2 rank part, you actually get 2 modules. I don't think I have any upgraded parts here right now, so I can't really just demonstrate it. But yeah, you can get modules this way. But I would never do it. I don't recommend it for several reasons. Number one, you need these mechs as feeding materials to increase quality. Number two, the A rank mechs, their parts are luck based, or sorry, their modules are always luck based. Like for example, if I'm looking at this mech, the Krieger, the parts at max level has a 25% chance to restore 1 action point after combat if you use a skill that uses action point cost 3 or more, right? A pressurizer, it caps out at 70% chance to increase damage by 15%. Even like the Roadrunner, the healing mech that a lot of people are using right now. If you have 4 parts of this mech equipped, it will have a 70% chance of triggering a repair amount increase of 15%. So it's all luck based, not really recommended as a result. The S rank mechs, if you choose to break those down, their effects are permanent. Okay. So that's where it gets interesting. Do you choose to break down S rank mechs so you can equip them as modules on other mechs? Right? In general, the answer is you would not want to do this early on. You might consider it later on when you have a wide variety of rainbowed mechs that you want to optimize their damage output on. Here's an example of what I mean. The Sylvie's mech, the Dreadtalon, I should say. The Dreadtalon has an amazing, I guess, built-in skill. The effect is, in combat, when hit rate exceeds 70%, each 1% above of that converts into a 1% damage bonus, up to a 25% damage increase. So if you have like 95% hit chance, you're getting plus 25% damage. 90% hit chance, you get plus 20%. 85% hit chance, plus 15%. So on and so forth, right? Since I just already mentioned, damage is king in this game, this kind of effect is very useful. Right? So some people do say later on, when the Dreadtalon starts falling off as you have more and more mechs built, like multiple Twilight Fangs for example, you might consider breaking down the Dreadtalon to unlock that effect to equip as mods on other mechs. But definitely not something you would do in the early stages of the game, unless you are putting money in the game and you drew for tons of copies of the Dreadtalon in the shipping. Okay. All right, so let's move on. So I've talked about how to upgrade mechs and that you should always do it. I've talked about modules. Now I'm going to do a little bit of analysis of why 3 of the mechs I use are considered good or not good. Okay. Before I do that though, one other thing I should mention. Right? I didn't mention this earlier, but mech torsos also is the part that provides how much power a mech generates. Okay. So because of that, sometimes it might be getting a part of a mech, just the torso of the mech to equip, and then use other parts for the arms and legs. Here's what I mean. Okay, looking at these mechs, let's look at medium mechs, for example. So I'm gonna go to like a medium mech pilot. Let's say Cicero. So in terms of torsos, medium mechs, they have a wide variety of power output. Like if I look at the A rank mech, or sorry, look at the B rank mechs, the absolute top power generator is the Cyclone with 2300 power. Right? You have 2225. Some of them generate like 1870, much lower, 1925, so on and so forth. Okay? The A rank mechs follow this kind of similar process. There are some with 2040, some with 2430, 2420, so on and so forth. 1880 here for an A rank mech part. Now, S rank mechs. Okay? The Arcus seems to be the absolute top with 2920. So we're talking like a range from like 1870 to 2920. The range is massive. Okay? The Blazer mech that we recently got, 2690. Okay? Even XR, the mech that was for Rosa, only generates 2740 power. So there might be you might consider getting like a second Arcus torso just so you can use it. And you, again, in dispatch missions, delivery network, you can get mech parts, right? So the arsenal, the 3 mechs for arsenal is Arcus, Wolverine, and Kong. It may very well be worth getting this Arcus just so you have a second mech with 2920 power. And that's kind of important for tactician style pilots who want to equip lots of very heavy shoulder weapons, right? Naomi with 2 rocket launchers, right? Barely enough power, even with a backpack that adds additional power boosts. Okay. And then Cicero, who is another tactician, Cicero is like focused on using rocket launchers, as I recall. A lot of his skills are based on using rockets, but rockets are basically the heaviest weapon. They're like, look at this, 1,200 weights. So trying to equip multiple rocket launchers, kind of good luck with that. Maybe if you have like a golden backpack or something, I don't know. But that's my point. Like you might need, if you want to run multiple tacticians, you're going to need maybe more Arcus's torsos, just so you can have the maximum weight capacity. Okay. Yes, you're going to lose out on some stats. You're not going to get the quality upgrade on them. But hey, weight matters. That's kind of what I mean. Alright, so that was off on a little bit of a tangent, but I hope that is useful advice. Now, to the analysis of some mechs, right? So I'm going to compare Glasya, Twilight Fang, and Dreadtalon, 3 different light mechs. The first 2 are considered kind of the top tier, SS or SSS ranking, and then Sylvie's Dreadtalon is a rank below. Why is that? Okay. Twilight Fang I already talked about, right? That combo skill, that ability to reduce action point cost by 1. That insane synergy with Frida is what makes the Twilight Fang really good. Absolute top tier. Okay. Also Fang Frame has this effect. When equipping 2 weapons of different types in each hand, damage is also increased by 20%. So you can't equip 2 POW bunkers, let's say. You don't want to equip 2 shotguns, or else you lose that 20% damage increase. But there are some limitations to Twilight Fang, but essentially, it is a massive damage dealer. That's what it is. You get increased damage. Okay. Combo skill actually increases damage as well for any re-attack. And of course, the action point reduction. Okay. So combining the Fang Frame plus the combo mod effect, you're looking at plus 38% damage right there. And then you can keep chaining attacks in. The final skill, the third skill of the Twilight Fang, I don't believe that one is very good, as I recall. I believe it's HP mod, right? Yeah. The third effect is HP mod, just increases the hit points of the mech. So, but plus 38% damage. End of the day, that's the main draw. Okay. So that's Twilight Fang in a nutshell. Glasya, let's look at the unique skills that it has. Okay. Glasya is more of a, I would say it's more of a combination of like a jack of all trades. So, Shock Absorber is a skill I added with modules. So let me just go into a part preview instead. The quality, because that shows the skills that it has. So, Equilibrium. Okay, Equilibrium is after landing a crit hit, dodge rate is increased by 15%. After a perfect dodge, crit rate is increased by 15%. Lasts 1 turn. So this effect is kind of like you have increased dodge and increased chance of dealing more damage from crit rate. Both effects are good, right? Dodge is important because light mechs kind of need to dodge. Like there's a lot of maps where you can only deploy characters separated from your other characters so they can't heal. You're gonna need to rely on dodging in those kind of maps. And then crit rate, again, damage increase. Surmount mod's effects are number 1, when attacking a target with hit points higher than 60%, damage is increased by 18%. And then if no part is broken on the enemy mech with your attack, you trigger the Flurry Strike, dealing 0.25 times more damage. Okay, pretty solid. Okay. And the last effect is Accuracy mod, increasing hit rate by 10%. So that's kind of what I mean by it's a jack of all trades. Okay. Ultimately, what this all adds up to is your Glasya should be like the initiator, the first one to attack, because the enemies will be above 60% health on all their parts, and then you have a higher accuracy against these characters to ensure more hits hit the enemy. So that's why Glasya, in a nutshell, is considered really, really top tier. Does everything well. Now, Dreadtalon. So why is Dreadtalon not considered top tier? Well, let's take a look at the skills on the Dreadtalon itself again. I already mentioned Dominator Locator earlier. Very, very good skill with a maximum damage boost of 25%. Accuracy mod, we just talked about it. It also enhances its main skill, right? The Dominator Locator. There's a very strong synergy between these two skills. But the last skill is where it kind of drops off. Execution mod. Effectively, Execution mod is the opposite of Glasya's skill. Execution mod has the effect of, when attacking a part with hit points lower than 60%, you deal plus 18% damage. And if a part on the enemy mech is destroyed, you will trigger Flurry Strike, dealing additional 0.25 times damage to that mech. This skill, in my opinion, kind of sucks, to be blunt about it. Because think of how you use Sylvie, right? How do we use her? We use her to basically shoot the torso of mechs and destroy them. Okay? The issue with Execution mod is, number one, when you're shooting the torso, it almost never is below 60% hit points right there. Okay? So that is not triggering. You're not getting this damage buff. And then the second part, if the part is destroyed, you trigger a Flurry Strike. I just said we're almost always shooting the torso of a mech. So in which case, you're very frequently not benefiting from this Flurry Strike at all. Because if you destroy the torso of the mech, it's already destroyed. There will not be a Flurry Strike trigger. The only time that will actually trigger is if, let's say, you shoot an arm. And then you get a Flurry Strike to weaken maybe the torso. So you can go after the torso in your second shot. But in the first place, from my experience in playing the game so far, you generally use your other mechs to weaken the targets and have Sylvie one-shot 3 targets in a row. So yeah, I feel like that's exactly why Sylvie is considered, the Dreadtalon is not considered top tier. In many ways, you can basically say, if you want damage output, a Twilight Fang is better than the Dreadtalon. Right? So if you could deploy 2 Twilight Fangs that were fully built up, that would be a better option than deploying a Dreadtalon. And that's why I mentioned, later on you might consider breaking down your Dreadtalons, just so you can equip the Dominator Locator buff, possibly on your Twilight Fangs, okay? To give them an additional 25% damage as well from that. Alright, so I hope that analysis is kind of clear. Ultimately, when analyzing a mech, you're basically just looking at A, how much power they have, and then B, those 3 skills that the mech has. The 3 skills that they provide. So Arcus, right? Synchronize Hub. When both shoulders are equipped with the same weapon, damage is increased by 20%. Yeah. Aim from afar. Right? When there are no enemies within 2 tiles, damage is increased. Right? And you also can get an aura that will grant a hit rate increase to allies. And the last effect, damage taken decrease. So that last effect is mostly useless. So, but 20% damage increase and another 18% damage increase. Overall, this makes the Arcus a really, really good support mech for any tactician. A brilliant one even, I would say. Okay. The big drawback is you need to equip both shoulders with the same weapon. And you can't really do that, from what I've seen, for rockets, due to how heavy they are. You can certainly do so for missile launchers, right? So it's really a mech geared towards a missile launcher character like Naomi. Not really intended for rockets, not really intended for anyone that uses a railgun either. Alright. So I think that kind of concludes my analysis of these mechs in general, and everything I wanted to talk about with regards to mechs. Long video, wow, almost 40 minutes. But yeah, thanks for watching everyone. I hope you found this useful to you. And on that note, Nitro out.